Yeah, good morning. Take a look at that. Another beautiful morning out here. So last night I was at a meeting. There was a newcomer there. I say newcomer. It's not like he's never been there before. He's one of those that's been struggling for a long time. And I've been there before myself. In and out, in and out, in and out. Never really completely giving himself to this simple program. It's not the way to go, I can tell you that. Lots of chaos in this young man's life. And I can certainly relate to that. I've had plenty of chaos in my life before I got sober. It's just a constant thing. It's part of that lifestyle. Yeah, major dose of gratitude whenever I'm in a meeting with someone who is experiencing that roller coaster ride because I've been there before. Look at that sunrise. That's amazing. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm pretty blessed to be able to see this every day. You got to admit. You know, one of the things that I'm dying to know, I've had a couple of people chime in on comments and say where they're from. I'd love to hear. One was from London here recently. That was kind of cool. If you would, you know, if you're going to comment, or even if you're not going to comment. You know, give me a little heads up as to where you're from. Where are you watching me from? I'm in Florida, Central Florida on the Space Coast, near Patrick Air Force Base. In fact, Patrick Air Force Base is right there. At 7:30, you'll hear revelry, however you say that. Anyway, back to the whole newcomer thing. You know, one of the things that I've heard, you know, you hear all these different sayings in AA, but the one that that comes to mind is, I come to meetings to find out what happens to people who don't go to meetings. And there's a lot of truth in that. You know, one thing that I know for sure, I've never heard someone come back after a relapse and say, man, that was fantastic. You guys have got to try this. It's great. No, it's never great. It never gets better. It always gets worse. And I've proven that. I have proven that to myself over and over again. I was relentless with trying so hard to figure out a way to drink and not get in trouble. I never figured it out. And every time, the trouble got worse. It got bigger. It got bigger and bigger. So yeah, that gives me a big dose of gratitude when I see a newcomer coming in and talking about their chaotic life. The topic of the meeting was about how we tend to get into you know, that mode in early sobriety of, oh my gosh, I gotta catch up, you know? It's no longer of looking like you got money. It's now about actually having money and you know, your earning potential and amassing your fortune and all of that kind of thing. And the funny thing is by the time I got sober, I knew that I was way too late for that. And the nice thing is I skipped right over that attitude. I did not feel like I had to catch up. It was too far in the distance for me to even try to catch up. I learned how to be okay with my financial insecurities. You know, the funny thing is when you're okay with your financial insecurities, you feel secure. And I do. I feel very secure. It's funny how that works, isn't it? there will come a time, I'm sure, in the future when I'm physically unable to earn a living, that I'll have to find another way. I don't know. Maybe my YouTube channel will go viral and I'll become YouTube famous or something. Have 500 million subscribers or something crazy like that. Make it happen, y'all. I need to retire. Anyway, I am so grateful for the life that I have. And when I see a newcomer talking about all the things that he was talking about, it hits home, because I can relate to every bit of it. I can't relate recently, but I can certainly relate to every bit of it. I've experienced it. I don't want any part of it anymore, man. But it does me good to hear it from that newcomer. He came there asking for words of wisdom. He came right out and asked for words of wisdom. And I mean, I gave him what I had, but I think I got more out of his share than he did out of mine. I like beginners meetings because I get to hear what those beginners are dealing with, and it brings it all back. You know, it's important that I don't forget that pain and that the chaos. And I was addicted to that chaos, man. You know, that it's crazy. Because you know, we talked about serenity last time, and I've I feel serenity. And it's huge in my life. So when a newcomer brings me back to what it was like pre-serenity, it affects me. I feel it. I don't just hear it. I feel it. And it gives me that major dose of gratitude. And so that's basically what I'm feeling this morning out here at the beach. Lots of gratitude. Gratitude for the fact that I don't feel like that young man did last night. I'm hoping to see him again, possibly even work with him a little bit, because I know he relates to me just as well as I relate to him. We've had similar experiences, not all of them, but a lot of them. And you know, that's important. I know when I was in an institution being treated for alcoholism, I was treated by a college-educated counselor. She had no idea what it's like to be an alcoholic, or even to be an addict, or to even, you know, have any kind of issues like that in her life. And so it went in one ear and out the other. You know, the big book talks about how we can quickly gain the confidence of another alcoholic. And that's why, because we speak their language. We know. We've been there. And it doesn't take long of telling a little bit of our story for them to realize that we know. We've been there. We speak the language. And then, when we come into AA, there's a whole nother language. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but I sure did. I had to learn a new language, the language of AA. There's a book called The Language of the Heart, and so, you know, I want to call it The Language of the Heart, but no, it's the language of AA. It's so different, and I think it's because of the honesty more than anything. the honesty is what threw me for a loop. You know, here were people being open and honest about what it feels like to be an alcoholic in society, and being honest about their feelings and emotions. I'd never done that before. I'd never even considered doing that. But in AA, you hear people do that all the time. And it gives you the motivation to do it as well. You become part of the language. And then you become fluent. So anyway, if you know any newcomers, any beginners, any relapsers, people that are just having a tough time in early sobriety, or their early attempts at sobriety, listen very closely, and you'll hear part of your story. And it should give you gratitude. It'll bring back those memories. It'll bring back those early days. And it'll be a good reminder for you as to why you want to remain teachable and sober. God has done for me what I couldn't do for myself. And so, with that being said, I think I'll just let him keep it with complete abandon. Well, you guys have a great day. Stay grateful. And don't forget, I'm trying to retire, so 500 million subscribers. See you guys later.